just this website. And we will keep on updating this content. We will keep on adding resources so that when you are learning on your own, you can get more idea about these concepts as well. Okay, so today, our discussion point is basically using AI for creative work. We're going to discuss about three different domains. We're going to learn about generating images as well as a bit of videos. We will learn about how we can generate professional grade diagrams with AI, and we will also learn how to create presentations with AI tools. So this is how we have designed our today's journey for this course. So basically in the first section, we are going to talk about image generation, where we're going to first get a bit of idea about foundational AI models and how did we come here. Like there has been vast level of improvements throughout image generation, image recognition. How did we get here? We're going to learn a bit about the journey, what were the technologies that brought us here. And then we are going to start with the tools that we're going to use. For that, we're going to show you three tools. One of them is free, one of them is freemium, and the other one is premium, so that based on your use case, you can use whichever one you want. Then we will also deep dive into like uh, generating proper prompts for generating very high quality images. We will see how we can generate proper prompts, and I will also give you a guideline of how to structure your prompt like a template, so you can just modify that template and generate whichever image you want. Then we will talk about generating diagrams with AI. For this, we will use two tools. First one is basically we will see code-based diagram generation. For that, we will also not do any coding by ourselves. We will ask an AI to generate the code, and then we will use that to generate diagrams. And then we will see a freemium AI tool, which is Napkin AI, to generate diagrams directly from text. And for presentations, we're going to use, at first, we're going to use the same tool, Napkin AI, to generate a few presentation slides. And then we're going to see Gamma, which is currently the best presentation generation platform out there. And it is also freemium, so you can access a big part of it for free. Okay, so now let's get started with the story of how we got into this era of image generation. Okay, if you have any questions, then you can ask like so far. Okay, I think no. So, okay, we will get started. Okay. So basically, as we can see, even 1 or 2 years ago, image generation was not that good. Like the images that were being generated, those were a bit impressive, a bit fun to play with, but not at a professional level, not at a level where we could use that. But in this era, like in the last year, in the last 6 months, we have seen massive improvements in image generation, especially with the uh, emergence of ChatGPT's vision model. We have seen that the images that are being generated by AI, sometimes it is very tough to differentiate from actual images, and it's only going to get better. But how did we come here? Like this journey was obviously not that easy. So if we go back all the way, the journey actually began in 2012. In 2012, we basically got to know about a new architecture which was called CNN, or convolutional neural network. So this was a breakthrough in computer vision. What this algorithm did was it basically opened paradigms for recognition of different parts in images. So with CNN, basically we could take an image, and the AI would basically understand what was in that image. So let's say in all of our phones, we have a Photos app. In the Photos app, if you go to the People section, you will see different faces of your friends. And if you click on one of them, it will give you all the pictures of that particular person. So this was all thanks to CNN. And even technologies like self-driving cars, these owe it to the CNN architecture. So CNN basically revolutionized AI's understanding of image. So with CNN, AI started to understand what is an image, what are the items in an image. Those were the things that were revolutionized by CNN. In 2024, the biggest breakthrough came in case of image generation. So with CNN, we were able to know what was in an image. We were able to detect edges in an image. We were able to detect subjects in an image, but we were not able to generate any image. But with GAN, or Generative Adversarial Network, we started to generate image out of nowhere. We basically started giving AI a list of words, and it would generate images out of it. This was the first time that we got to know about the capacity of AI, which worked like magic. Like you give it text and it starts generating images. GAN basically created that. Then in 2020, the quality of images started to drastically improve with models like Stable Diffusion, SDXL, and other ones. We started seeing actual improvements. We started seeing artworks being copied. We started seeing us being able to upload one photo of us, one photo of Van Gogh's very good art, and we would see that that image would follow the art quality of that. So that was made possible by diffusion. And lastly, the most recent update was seen with OpenAI's uh, vision. So that was with transformer architecture. With that, we see AI being able to generate images with text, AI being able to generate images with the same subject in it. We can give it an image and we can tell AI to generate another one with the same subject, with the same person, with the same face. That was made possible by the transformer architecture. So what we have today in terms of image generation was a very long way. Now, all the four architectures that we talked about, we have content for every one of them in this course content. I'm going to very briefly go through all of them. I'm not going to dive any deeper, but if anyone is interested, there's more than enough content here to, learn it yourself. And we also have a resource section where we have listed videos to get you started. We have listed blogs to get you started. So if you're interested to know deep into these technologies, we will basically you will get an idea from there. And if we have like further sessions, we can also discuss them from there. So as I talked about, CNN was basically the architecture that gave birth to things like autonomous vehicles, object detection, facial recognition, and you by yourself can understand like what sort of impact it had. And how it worked was basically these are the stages of how a CNN architecture works. I'll not get into the details, but you can go through the content and get an idea about this yourself. Now, moving on, this is basically a slide for people who want to understand this a little bit better. So we have, if someone wants to understand this mathematically, we have tried to create an interactive element to give you an idea of how the architecture works mathematically. So you can just click on play and it would play the animation whole, or you can just click on next and it will show you like one step at a time. So it will basically show you like how the calculation is happening. And if you're interested, you can go through this later on your own pace. So with CNN, we basically saw that we were able to understand. AI was able to understand images. AI was able to see what was in an image. AI was able to make decisions based on an image. But the problem with this was it was not able to generate anything. It was not imaginative. We were not able to like tell it to give us something and it would give something. It was not like that. It basically, we gave it an image and it would understand an image. Now the breakthrough in cases of generation came with GAN. Here we saw that with a simple prompt, we were able to generate images. Now I'll give you. Okay. Okay. Now I'll give you like a very brief understanding of how this sort of network was made. So the name of GAN is basically generative adversarial network. So adversarial means basically acting as enemies. So how they came up with this idea was, how do we make an AI generate something? That was the biggest question. Before GAN, we had no way to generate anything from AI. We used AI to make decisions. We gave it a lot of data and it would make predictions. But GAN made it possible for us to generate things with AI. Now, how GAN works is basically it is a combination of two different parties in the algorithm. One is the discriminator, the other one is the generator. So how it works is generator is basically, let's say, a model. Its responsibility is to generate an image. Discriminator is another model. Its responsibility is to differentiate between a real image and a fake image. So when the training happens, the generator basically learns to generate an image as good as a real image. And the discriminator, it learns to differentiate between a real image and a fake image. As the iterations go, the discriminator basically learns to identify images better, and the generator starts to generate images that are more real. So once the training is done, this generator model is what we see. which basically takes in a text and it gives you an image that is very real. So that is how GAN came into life. But there were many problems with GAN. One of those included that the images that it generated, it might have been enough to confuse the discriminator, but it didn't confuse humans. The images generated by GANs, it was clearly generated by AI. We would be able to see instead of 5 fingers, we would see 10 fingers in one hand. So those were the things that could confuse the discriminator, but not us. That is where models like Stable Diffusion came in. For GAN, we have the same sort of animation that you can go through in your own pace. Uh, I will not go through this. We will just go directly into diffusion. So with GAN, we were able to generate images, but those were not high quality. So with diffusion, what we did was we started generating images, but in a different way. The training process here is a bit different. Here, we don't train by confusing a discriminator model. How we train is we train a model to take a real image and add a lot of noise to it. So as you can see in this diagram, I see this is the training phase of a stable diffusion model. So as you can see, it learns to add noises to an image. So this is how the training is done. And when the generation happens, it does the opposite process. So it takes a random noise and it starts generating images from it. So the training is a bit different, done a bit differently. This is a process that they followed, and they got really amazing results. There is an interactive demo in the next slide where you can see how the image generation happens in a stable diffusion model. So as you can see at the step one, at the beginning, it has a very noisy image with nothing in it. You can see nothing. As you go through the steps, you start seeing some details. As you go along, a bit of structure starts emerging. As you go along, the image becomes a bit clearer. And at the final step, you get a very clear image. This is how a diffusion model works. It basically starts with a random noise. It does a denoising process and it generates the image. Now comes the transformer model that basically revolutionized everything. I will not get into deep with it, but to give you a brief idea, this works the same way a text generation would work. So if you saw ChatGPT 2 years ago, you would ask it questions with text. It would give you responses in text. So this architecture follows the same thing, but instead of only working with text, it started working with image pixels. I will not go into deep dive, but if anyone wants to learn more, in this section, we have a lot of resources. So in the vision resources panel, we have blogs for every one of these sections that we talked about. We have videos to get you started. We have implementation videos as well from very renowned sources. And these are the videos that I personally have watched and found that, okay, these were very effective. That's why we added them here. So you can, if you are interested to learn these further, you can do it on your own pace. But so far, what we've talked about, we will not need any of this in the next moving parts. So you can just forget, like even if you didn't get anything, it's completely fine. It's not something that we will need in the next steps of the session. So
so just Salman and to the participants as well. So basically, we don't want to cover the major architecture making part in our today's webinar for simplicity, so that everyone can understand easily and move on to the application part more. But then again, these one side is everything for any individual to go through and learn all of the details. সালমান আমাদেরকে এখানে হচ্ছে একটা জার্নি শো করছে, যেটা হচ্ছে বেসিক্যালি আমাদের জেনারেটিভ এআই এর স্টার্টিং টু কারেন্ট ফেজে আমরা যেখানে আছি সেইটার আমরা একটা টোটাল জার্নি এবং মেজর ব্রেকআওয়ে ইভেন্টসটা আমাদেরকে শোকেস করছে। সো এই প্রত্যেকটা ইভেন্টে আসলে আমরা কি কি হচ্ছে architecture we followed and how we actually do the stuff in machines and systems, এইসব নিয়ে যদি হচ্ছে আপনাদের ফার্দার ইন্টারেস্ট থাকে and you definitely want to go through these microsite, you don't need to go anywhere else and সেলফ পেসে আপনারা একটা একটা করে লার্নিং কন্টেন্ট গো থ্রু করে you can have a total understanding of the whole architecture thing. Hopefully এই পর্যন্ত কারো যদি কোনো কোয়েরিজ থাকে you can do it, or else we will move on to forward with the next application part where we will be actually focusing on how we can apply this in our day-to-day workplace. And I believe Salman should get a big round of applause for preparing this whole macro side and all those details. And we are looking forward to upgrading the whole microsite with all of the AI learnings in our upcoming journey as well. Yes, Rafid Bhai, you have a question.
ওকে, হ্যালো সালমান। সো আমি এক্সপেক্ট করবো যে আমাদের এই কোর্সের ফরওয়ার্ডিং সেশনস গুলোতে এরকম কিছু থাকবে যেটা দিয়ে হয়তো বা সবার কমন কিছু রিয়েল লাইফ প্রবলেম আমরা সলভ করতে পারবো থ্রু দ্য এআই, হেল্প অফ দ্য এআই আর কি। সো দ্যাট যেহেতু আমরা একটা অর্গানাইজেশন অনেক সময় থাকে না যে হচ্ছে একটা কমন প্রবলেম আমরা সবাই ফেস করি, সে ফর এক্সাম্পল একটা ইমেজের ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড রিমুভ করতে হবে। সো এটার জন্য দেখা যাচ্ছে আমরা অনেক সময় কনসার্ন পার্সনের কাছে যাই বা একটা টিমের কাছে যাই, বাট যেটা কিনা হয়তো বা আমরা পটেনশিয়ালি সেলফ লার্নিং বা সেলফ একটা টুল যদি থাকে, সো দ্যাট এরকম কমন কিছু টুল যেটা যেটা কিনা আমাদের ডেইলি ড্রিভেন ডেইলি লাইফের সাথে আমরা এটাকে কমন প্র্যাকটিসের সাথে ইউজ করি। সো এরকম কিছু কিছু প্রবলেম হয়তো বা আমরা সামনে সলভ করতে পারবো আশা করা যায়। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Thank you. Definitely, we will be trying to integrate any queries section as well in future as well, so that we can constantly answer those queries and also integrate those part into this microsite as well. So it will be helpful for everyone as well.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
If everything's all right, then we will be moving forward. Okay.
Okay. So basically now this slide is to give you an idea of the things that we can create with AI. Some of us know what things are we are able to create with AI. Some of us don't. That is why like I wanted to have a slide with the possibilities listed out. So with the new image generation technology, we can basically do digital art. We can do style transferring where we basically give one image of us, one image of a very popular art form, and the AI basically generates our image in an art format. We can also use this to generate very creative content. For example, if I want to create like an album cover or a book cover, I can do it with AI. Many businesses have started using AI in their own marketing as well. In Banglalink, we were one of the first companies to adopt like AI marketing. Our last campaign with Banglalink was the whole video was generated with AI, and it's very impressive that we're doing it. And it's not just us. Companies worldwide are trying to use AI in different marketing campaigns that they have. It is first very cost effective, and secondly, you can get as creative as you want. So these were some examples of that. And also with AI, we can do a lot of image editing sort of things. For example, we can do image enhancement. We have a very old image and we can generate like a very realistic image from it. We can do like, we have a certain part of an image that we don't want. We can remove that with AI. That is also possible in some of the phones, in Samsung, in iOS. We see these sort of capabilities arising. We also have like these image generation models being used in different medical use cases as well. So in cases of training different AI models to, let's say, generate like a understand like a deformed MRI scan. So in those cases, image generation is being used to generate a lot of data points, because gathering human MRI scans is one, a security issue, and secondly, like it's very hard to get. So with generative AI, they're doing this generation, so you can just get an idea of how accurate this is becoming day by day. And for the our digital team, we also can do like web development, app design, UI UX directly from using AI tools. And we don't need to talk about like content creation and education. We all know that these have been revolutionized by a lot with the intervention of these generative AI models. Okay, now basically we will move on to the tools that we will use today to generate images. After this image generation, we will do a bit of diagram generation and we will do presentation generation. So for the image generation, I'm going to show you three tools. First, I'm going to show you Craiyon AI, which is a free tool that you can use directly. Then I will show you MidJourney, which is a premium tool that do not have any free service. But if you want to generate artistic images, MidJourney is the one to do it. Then we will also see ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a freemium model. So with the free version, you can generate 5 images per day, which is more than enough for our use case. So we will see each one of them one by one. So let's start with Craiyon AI. So the free version of Crayon, the images that it generates, it's not that good. I'll just directly say it to you. But there's this one feature which I believe that a lot of you will start using after this session. So as you can see, this was the prompt and this was the image generated by Crayon. And if you go through all the prompts, the images generated look a bit cartoonish and non-usable. But we will see why Crayon is still a very good option to get started. So we will directly get to the Crayon's website and I'll show you a very small demo on how we can use Crayon. So we will start with a very simple prompt. I will just directly copy their one. So a cute fox with a red hat. Okay, since we are at Banglalink, let's not do fox, let's do a tiger. Okay, so if we click on draw now, we will be able to generate images and it will show you a loader that basically says that, okay, the image is generating. And if you see here, there are a lot of different models that you can choose from. So if you are generating, let's say a realistic photo, choosing this V4 photo might give you better results. If you are doing a drawing, choosing this one might give you a good result. But since we don't know what sort of styling we want, I'm just going with the auto one. It will automatically select based on the prompt, automatically select which model we should use. Now, it takes a few seconds. It takes about 10 to 12 seconds to generate an image. And the image that we will get, those will not be that good. But Crayon has a feature where it gives you images generated by pro models for free. So after this is done generating, I'll show you. It takes a bit of time. Every generation model will take a bit of time. Okay, the images have been generated. So these are the images that Crayon has generated for us. As you can see, these are very cutesy, these are very fun, but these are actually not usable in a professional setting. But if you scroll down a little bit, it'll give you an inspiration panel. So this panel is basically a panel where the images have been generated by other people with similar prompts. So we wanted a tiger with a red hat. Someone had generated a tiger with a hat. Someone had generated a tiger. So other people have generated images, these images, and it gave me those images, which are a lot higher quality. For example, if this is an image, this is completely usable in one of our presentations if we want to do that. So this is something that Crayon does. Even though it's free version, doesn't generate that good images. It gives you images generated by others. So you can just go through these and most of the time you will find whatever image you yourself wanted. So this is a very good site to do that. So that is why I want to show you Crayon. Now moving on, we will start seeing in a bit of detail about MidJourney. As you can see with MidJourney, the images to get substantially better. With Crayon, this was the image, and with MidJourney, this is the quality of the image. And every image that we'll see is very, very good. For example, this image, it seems like a photograph. It doesn't seem like an AI generated image. Let's say this image, this looks like a real person. So as we go along, these models become better and their artistic quality also starts to get better. So now I'll basically walk you through how you can use MidJourney. Now, since this is a paid tool, this is not for everyone. Some of you, if you're interested, you can buy the subscription. They have like a $10 subscription model, which you can buy. So for the $10 plan, you pay $10 a month and you get around 200 images. And if you are someone who plans on using this a lot, you can get the standard plan. It's $30, but it gives you unlimited images. Okay. Now we will try with a few prompts ourselves. So I already tried a few myself. So I'll basically open one of the prompts and I'll generate an image with MidJourney. So this is a prompt that I'll paste in. This is a lot detailed prompt. I'll show you and give you a template of how you can generate prompts like this. But if we give this prompt to MidJourney, it takes that prompt and it starts generating images. On this panel, you will see 4 images generated at one time. And with MidJourney, you can not only generate images, but you can also expand them into GIFs. For example, this image basically was generated by one prompt, and I basically made that into a video with just a single click of a button. I'll show that to you with the one that we generated. So as you can see, this is the quality of image that we have generated. We don't have 5G yet, but hoping for the best. So this is the quality of image that is generated. So this is completely usable in a very professional, even for marketing, we can use this. So let's say that this one was the best image that I got. Now, if I wanted to modify it, I can just directly write the modifications here and it will modify this image based on that. Now, if you go here, if you go a little bit down in this part, you will see animate image. Here you can see two options, auto and loop. Auto means you will generate a few frames that will start and end. Loop means it will start from the same point and end at the same point. So it will be like a looping video. And you also see like these options, low motion and high motion. So let's say I want to generate a looping video with a lot of movement. So if I click on this button, it basically starts generating a video for me. So if I go back, I basically have submitted a video generation queue and it will generate me a video. The videos, sometimes I'll give you an example. I did one generation previously. So I'll give you an example while the our one generates. So this was an image of a South Asian girl, and with just the simple clicks of buttons, these were the videos that we were able to make. And you can also give it manual prompts to generate further images. For example, if I want her to pose differently, I can just click on extend manually and it would give me like a text box where I can write what I want the character to do. So if I want her to like do another action, I can do that. And you can also select like the amount of model motion that you want to have in your image. Now, while the video that we started generates, I would like to show you like how we can edit a particular part of an image. So let's say I want to modify this image. Let's say I want to modify this image. So I'll download it. Okay, so I've downloaded it. And if I go on to the edit panel, I can just click on upload button and I'll upload that particular image that I want to edit. And if I upload that, it will basically give me an editor, an open editor to select parts of the image. So let's say this is a very good art that we generated, but let's say I want, okay, let's say I want here, I want cliffs to be here, like these sort of cliffs. I want it to be here, like mountains, cliffs and mountains. I want them to be here. So I can just mark these, remove that part from the image, and I can basically write down what I want in this part. So let's say I want to have very high hills and mountains here. Mountains here. So if I submit this edit, it will basically start generating new images with the prompt that I have given. So you can also like restore stuff and other thing. Like if you go into this panel, you can just try things out on your own. So it gave me like 4 different options, as you can see. This one is the first option. This one is the second option. This one is the third option. This one is the fourth option. So as you can see, this is the one that basically has like a lot of mountains and stuff, and the clouds are also looking pretty good. So this is something that we can use. So if you like this image, you can just click on download to download it, or if you click on upscale to gallery, it will basically take that image uh, to your page, and it will basically edit it a little bit more to make it a bit better. So this was the image, and it will upscale it a little bit to make it a lot better. Meanwhile, we can also start looking at the video that we generated. So this is how the video looks. It will give you 4 different versions of it as well. So as you can see, these are pretty good and pretty usable. Seems like a drone shot. If we were to do it manually in real life, it would have taken us, I don't know how much amount of money, but we can do it for free with AI. So these are basically the things that you can do with MidJourney, and the possibilities are endless. Like I just showed you like a very brief demonstration of the very basic capabilities, but if you start using it, you'll be able to figure out a lot of things by yourself. As you can see, when I did the upscale, the quality of the image improved by a lot. Uh, the characters are a lot better and everything seems a lot better after upscaling. So that is something that you can do with MidJourney. And MidJourney is basically the best tool if you want to get started with artistic image generation, as well as if you want to generate like a few second reels. This is a very good tool to do that. And the starting value $10, I personally think that it's worth way more than that. Like generating images like this is very good. Like the $10 package is completely worth it if you have the use case. Okay. Now, moving on, we will look at ChatGPT's image generation. As you can see, the same prompts were used, but ChatGPT does a lot of things. Since ChatGPT is the best language model, they have the best language model. They do a lot of things with language themselves, which MidJourney doesn't. For MidJourney, if we want to generate an image of this artistic quality, we would have to write down a lot of things in the prompt. But ChatGPT, since it is trained to understand language a lot better, it basically can generate very good images even with very small prompts. So these are the images that were generated by ChatGPT. And I personally think that ChatGPT basically has a bias towards generating a bit of cartoonish images, Ghibli style images. So yeah, the pine image, like we didn't specify anything. MidJourney generated a realistic one, but ChatGPT generated a cartoonish one. The same with the South Asian girl. MidJourney decided to generate a realistic one, but ChatGPT generated like a Ghibli style, cartoon style one, which still looks pretty good. And this is like an icon that we generated with AI. So I wanted to have this as a meme part, like something that is happening in the recent times. So flight expert logo. And I also had like an animation where the bird flies and goes away. Okay, so basically let's get started with ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT, since it basically gives you 5 images for free, while you are watching this video or while you are joining this session, you can just follow along and do some of these things by yourselves. So I will write down a prompt and we will see how the image generation works. So since we did with this prompt image, we generated an image with this prompt, we will do the same with ChatGPT. So I will first say, generate me an image with the following prompt. You have to do that because ChatGPT is a general model. And if you don't do that, it's going to take a prompt and start doing something else. So I wrote the prompt and I'll give the detailed prompt here. So it will take a bit of time and it will generate me an image. While this image is being generated, I would like to, okay. Does anyone have any questions there? Okay. 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 While this generates, let's start with our discussion about like how to structure a proper prompt because it's going to take a bit of time. So if we go back to our slide deck, I have basically divided like for our use case for telecom use cases, I have divided like image generation into 4 different sections. The first one is basically creating general visuals, which is like a futuristic train that we saw, things like that. Then I have like talked about generating images of nature, artistic images, stuff like that. Then I have also talked about like how we can have a very good prompt for images where humans are there. And I've also like did a bit of templating for logos and graphics generation as well. So if we go one by one, as you can see, the first train that we saw with ChatGPT, this one was the train. But with a bit of clever prompting, this is the image that we were able to generate with the same model, with the same capability, with the same free capacity. We were able to do that. As you can see, this one is more detailed, more artistic, something that I personally wanted at that point of time. So with the first image, we basically didn't have anything. We basically just told it to generate a futuristic train that is gliding through a desert at sunset. And that is what it understood. But we, most of the time, will have something in mind and we will have to tell it properly to the LLM to be able to generate properly. So in case of general visual creation, I've created a template for you that you can follow to generate images from your style. So for generating normal visuals, this is the structure. You first talk about what you want to have in that image. For example, in our case, it was a futuristic train. Then we define what is happening in this particular scene. So what is happening? The train is gliding through a desert at sunset. Then we define what style we want. Do we want a realistic one? Do we want a cartoonish one? Do we want a cyberpunk one? So I wanted a cyberpunk style image. So I wrote this. Then comes color and lighting. Like what sort of lighting do we want this train to have? So I wrote here glowing blue and orange lights. This is because Banglalink is orange and Rise and Toffee is a bit of blue. So yeah. And then you add basically, if you want, camera quality, camera angle or quality. For us, the camera angle was aerial view. And you can also use like background context. You can also use like ultra HD, things like that, like different tags here as well. I've also given like a bit of idea, a bit of examples for each of the values in this template. So you can just by using this, we have turned this image into this one. The same thing I have done for generating natural images. So this was the first image generated by ChatGPT when we just said that a forest with tall pine trees. And with a bit of clever prompting, we generated this. It was the same model, the same free one, but it generated two completely different things just because we structured the prompt differently. You can also find the template for this in this page as well. So whenever you're working, just go to the microsite, take this prompt template, copy it somewhere, and just write down whatever part you wanted to have. So I have also like broken down each of the prompts that we have with this particular prompt template. So you can get a bit more idea about what we can do.
Can you please show how you use the prompt as in like copy pasting it to ChatGPT? Like
Okay.
which element do we copy? Do we just copy this part and then fill in our bits?
So basically how we normally do it is you can use AI here as well. So you can copy this, write something down in natural language, and the AI is going to give you a prompt like this. But what I normally do is basically, let's say I copy this template and I will paste it somewhere and I will start generating an image for this. Let's say I will generate something in the mountains. So the environment will be a green mountain, green mountain. The time of the day might be at sunrise with a lot of lighting, with a lot of lighting. The weather might be the weather or mood of the image. This might be very bright and sunny. Sunny. The elements of the nature. So let's say what do we want here? So let's say we might have a lot of green trees, and also a cellular tower peeking out from the trees. Then style or lens, I want this to be very realistic, so hyper realistic style. The color palette or texture, this can be realistic coloring. And quality, let's say that this is going to be ultra HD 4K or something. So this basically helps the LLM to get like more realistic. It's basically because of the training that they go through normally. So I basically took this prompt, I modified what was in it, and I basically will now paste it in somewhere. Like let's do it in MidJourney because it's faster. So I'll just paste it here. And it will start generating that image. And since I have had like a lot of details in that image, most of the time it will capture whatever you have in your mind. Most of the time it will do that. So as you can see, it's generating 4 different images and you can already like choose which one you like. I think I like this one the best. So these are the images that it has generated, as you can see. But if you didn't specify a lot of the things, it would generate a very generic image. Sometimes you will like the image, sometimes you will not. It was not the AI's fault. It was basically us not being able to tell the AI what to generate properly. What happens most of the time in our jobs. Yeah. So as you can see, like these are the images that were generated. So this is how you can use these templates when you are generating images. Now you don't only have to do it with MidJourney. You can also do it with ChatGPT's free version. As you can see, this is the free version that I'm using, and I can just give it a prompt and it will start generating the same image for me. Now the image obviously is going to be different since the model is different, but you will get a similar one, and hopefully it's going to be something that you liked. The same thing I have done for humans in images. So this was the first image that was generated by ChatGPT, and this was the second image that was generated by using a properly guided prompt template. Every prompt template has a breakdown, example, everything. So you don't need to go anywhere. Just come here, copy that prompt template, write it down on one of your AI models, and it will generate you a very good image, something that you want. The same for logo. The first logo that we had was very bland because we didn't specify most of the things. For the second one, we did a lot of specifications and it generated like a lot better logo for us. Now, for logo generation, I wouldn't suggest MidJourney because it doesn't generate text that well. For logo generation, please use ChatGPT because it's a lot better in terms of generating text in images. So these are the prompting techniques. And if you want to get a little bit deeper, if you want to add a little bit more to your prompting, I have also added like a few examples here as well for extra uh, parts of the template if you want to add. For example, if you want to add no blur, if you want to add no distortion, you can use these sort of tags in your prompt as well. The more detailed the prompt is, the better the image generation will be. So for ChatGPT, with the same prompt, it gave us this image. This is also pretty good, I'd say. But the MidJourney ones are a bit more realistic, a bit more artistic. So it depends on your taste, basically. Okay, so we are basically done with the image generation part. If any one of you have any questions, now is a very good time to ask. Okay, no questions. Okay, so all of the tools that I showed you, is, except for MidJourney, the other two are completely free to use. So I'm hoping that after today's session, you will start using some of them, even if it's not for work. Just do a little bit of like tinkering with it, and you will for sure like it. And with AI, like everyone says that with AI, especially these generation sort of things, we are basically bringing out talent in people that we didn't know people had. For example, when we first had photography, first we had when we first had cameras basically didn't kill art. It basically let people who didn't have artistic skills capture art. That's why we have photographies. That's why we have people taking a lot really amazing photos. And this is not something that affects art. It basically democratizes art to people who don't know how to draw. The same thing is happening with AI. It's basically giving us capabilities that we didn't have, skills that we didn't have, but inherently we all are like artistic. We all are creative. So AI is basically giving you a stage to show your creativity, and the sooner you get started, the better you will get at it, and hopefully, yeah, you see, as soon as you start using it, the better you will like it. Okay, so now now we have moved out from the images and we are moving into the diagram generation part. So in our day-to-day life, in our day-to-day work, all of us have to generate like different sorts of diagrams. Sometimes it might be technical, sometimes it might be non-technical, sometimes it might be for a slide, sometimes it might be for presentation, sometimes it might be for a document. But this is something that we normally have to do. That is why I wanted to include it separately in a particular part of the session. So I will show you two different ways to generate images, that generate diagrams with AI. The first one is basically using code, but we will not write any code. We will generate code with AI. And the second one is using a freemium tool and generating like different parts of it. So let's start with an example. Let's start, what could be the example? Let's start with a few marketing ideas about Rise. So let's say I don't have any idea. So what we normally should do is basically ask ChatGPT to give us ideas about Rise. So let's say, so I have Gen Z friendly telecom company named Rise. I want to show my users AI friendly and give me a marketing plan. So it will generate me a marketing plan and we will start like creating diagrams from it. Okay. So first, let's talk about using Mermaid. So for Mermaid is basically like HTML and stuff, but this basically lets you generate images. So most of the time, if you were to generate a code, you would need to have a code editor. You would need to have like a separate website for it. But what I've done here is I've basically given you a specific uh, editor only for Mermaid. So if you want to generate Mermaid images, just come to this site. There's an editor on the left side and there is like a render on the right side. So you can just generate an image, take a screenshot and use it wherever you want. So there are like already a few examples here which you can use to get started. So if you click on any of them and start render, it will basically generate that image. I should maybe turn on light mode. Yeah. So as you can see, it generated me a really good diagram and I can like edit a lot of the things here. So this is basically a code that is being rendered. So you can basically edit anything, click on render button and it will edit the values of it. Now the marketing plan that it gave, I will basically tell it to generate me a mermaid diagram for it. Diagram for it. Don't use too much text. Be very brief. It will not only help you like making diagrams, but it will also creating diagrams would also help you like understand things better. So it gave me a code. I will copy it. I will go back to my editor that we have on our microsite and I will render it. Okay, so it got the code wrong. So I'll tell it that I got an error. It also gave me a link to a like Mermaid live editor as well. I can also go there as well. So yeah, there was a syntax error somewhere. So I'll copy this one, go back to this site, try to render it. Okay. Let me check where it got wrong. So sometimes the free version is not that good. It might get some things wrong. So what I do is if some model gets it wrong, I go to a different tool. I tell it to fix the code. Fix this code. This is Gemini. And it gave me a new code. I can just copy it. Okay. The hell? Okay, so this is the error. It doesn't support quotations. Okay, so Mermaid doesn't support quotations. That's why it happened. So remove these quotations and we render it. Yeah, and it showed me, and it gave me the diagram. So it'll basically help you like visualize a lot of the things that you will do in your day-to-day life. And especially for technical people, if you want to generate sequence diagrams, flowcharts, and stuff like that, Mermaid is a very good way to do that with code. But you don't need to write code by yourself. You can do like a bit of vibe coding and do it. Now I'll show you like an even better way. Instead of using Mermaid, we can use a freemium tool called Napkin, and we can generate images directly from there. So I'll just sign into my account. I'll create a new napkin. So napkin is basically like a free-flowing document where you can copy paste everything and it will intelligently create diagrams. So let's say that in OpenAI, it first generated me like a very big text. So I will copy this one instead of copying the code. So let's say this is the marketing plan and I want to show it to my line manager. So I'll basically go here. I'll paste the whole thing. It gave me an idea. And in Mermaid, you see at every section, it if you hover down, it gives you like a blue icon. So at any point, you can just click on that icon and it will try to generate an image from this part. So as you can see, it had tone, value, slogan ideas. So it basically gave me like different styles of making this into a very good diagram. So we had 3 parts. It gave us 3 parts. So I can choose any one of these if I want. So let's say I like this one. I choose this one. And this is now a very good diagram that I can use anywhere. I can just click on it and I can just click on download and I can save it as anything. I can save it as PNG, SVG, whatever I want. I can save it, copy and paste it. So if I download it, this is the image. I can directly place this into a presentation and use it. Now, this is not it. I chose like a structure of a diagram, but if I go in the change style part, I can change the style of it as well. By style, it changes like the text, the color, the way that the image is shown. It changes the style of the diagram. So this is by far the best tool for generating visuals for your slides. I normally use it a lot. So you guys can start using it too. It's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. You just start using it on your day-to-day life. The same thing you can do for all of these. All of these that you have, you can just click on the blue button and it will generate you a very good diagram. It'll generate you really good, like the visuals are really amazing. So this can be like, if I were to generate this by myself, it would have taken, I don't know how many hours, but it generates you this quality of image in a very short amount of time. So this is a very useful tool. So you can just directly get text and start generating diagrams with your text from this. Okay. Now that we've seen Napkin, we can like the AI presentation works similarly. You get the idea. Like you have a text, you have a slide plan, you copy paste it here and you generate with Napkin AI. So the thing that I did for one part, if I do it for all the parts, it is now a very good presentation. So yeah, and you can obviously like download this as a PDF as well. So you can download a PDF, stuff like that. Okay, I'll not go into Napkin AI. I'll directly move on to Gamma. So Gamma is also a freemium tool that lets you generate presentations directly with prompts. So I'll go with the same content, like the content that I did for the Napkin. I'll do it for Gamma as well. So I'll copy the content and I'll create like a new one with AI. And you can see like you can generate text as well from here. Instead of using ChatGPT, you can give it like a bit of idea about what you're trying to do in this presentation, and you can just generate from here. But my suggestion would be to first fix the content, because if you don't fix the content, the models that you'll use, it might hallucinate. So fix the content with another AI tool and then move them here. So let's paste in text. So I want to create a presentation. Gamma can also make you web pages documents as well. So I'll just copy the content and I'll just directly paste it here. And let's say I want to generate notes or an outline. You can select options. Like if you want to preserve the exact text, it can also do that. So then I click on configure your prompt. And since this is a freemium, it will not let you generate like all these slides at once. So it's giving me like 10 cards to generate at first. In the settings page, you can select a lot of things. So for text content, you can select either you can let the model generate it. You can tell the model to make it more concise. You can tell it to preserve everything that you have. So we selected generate. And if you select generate, you will be able to write like how you want the content to be. You can select the tone. You can select the language as well. And then if you want, you can select the theme as well. So there are a lot of themes that they have, and you can choose any one of them, whichever one you like, depending on your use case. You can use any one of them. So let's say I like this one. They have a lot. Let's say I like this one. So I'll select this theme. They also generate images automatically. So you don't need to generate images. The images will be generated automatically by them. So for image sources, let's select AI image. And I can also select the type of image that I want. So let's say I want 3D images. I can select that. And if you had a paid model, you would also be able to select the model that you want to use. So these are the free models that they have. And if you had a paid model, you would be able to use GPT's image generation as well. So yeah, for the free one, we can generate like these, use these ones to generate images. So let's say I select this one. And now if I click on generate, it will start generating the image. Since I don't have that many credit, it might not generate that many. But as you can see, it starts writing all the content for you. Okay, for I had like very low credits, so it generated only one slide. I'll show you with one of my previous ones. So the same way, like I followed the same way to do this as well. So this is the quality of presentations that are generated with Gamma. So you can just paste in your content, give it like ideas about what you want to do, and it'll give you like a very good template. Like you can use this as a template and you can edit it. You can like this is also an editor. So if you want to change the text, if you want to shift a few things, you can do that. So this is how you create images with Gamma. So that's pretty much it. Like I wanted to cover three things on this particular session. First one was images, second one was diagrams, and the third one was presentations. So we have covered everything. So if you have any questions, you can throw them at my way. Congratulations on making it so far. It was very nice, like being able to uh, give you guys a little bit more information about this. Okay. Over to you, Rafat Bhai.
Thank you, Salman. And we are moving forward with the next couple of sessions as well, looking forward. And hopefully everyone will be joining. And we will be trying to cover more interesting parts as well, as we have shown in the first slide. We are going to cover much more interesting topics and also everything in one microsite. I think that will be very much useful for everyone because everyone wants to learn AI. Yes, Rafat Bhai, you have a question.
Yes, can we use Copilot for this image generation or diagram generation?
Can you repeat, Rafat Bhai? Sorry.
Can we use Copilot for image generation or to generate diagram?
Yes, you can obviously use mobile phones. Like most of the apps that we showed here, especially Craiyon, OpenAI, all of them have mobile applications. I'm not sure if Craiyon has a mobile app.
Mobile, Salman, he has said Copilot. Whether he will be able to generate these things with Copilot, like the images or the diagram.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but I don't think they have the capability yet. Like image generation is not yet in Copilot as far as my knowledge, but I'm not sure.
Definitely, Rafat bhai, you can try with it, but I don't believe as a Copilot user, I believe it's not that much well use cases using Copilot doing the image generation for now, not knowing what will be happening in the future, but definitely for perfect visualization, perfect image generations, we should be using much more better tools that available in the market right now. And that's why we have shown multiple tools based on use cases. We can actually use the right tools for generating the right content. So